Now, I use Crisco, and it's a 3/4 cup. I also, although the packaging says that the flour is sifted, I do sift the flour still, making sure that the cup sits still and the flour goes in. So that's what I do. I'll finish this up and then continue. I'm using some old equipment here, as you can see, 60s Tupperware stuff, maybe 70s. So I've put my 1 teaspoon of salt in, but I always stir that salt in because when I put the shortening in on top, the shortening sticks to the salt, and then you wind up with a clump of salty tasting stuff, and it doesn't mix in well. So I stir it quite well before I put in the shortening. So here we have the shortening going in. I just pull that out with a spatula, plop it on top of the flour. Something I did not mention, but probably should at this point, is that when I'm filling the shortening in the cup, I'm pressing pretty hard with that spatula to make sure there are no air bubbles and it's a good solid form of shortening. Alright, so the trick here is to cut in the shortening, and not too much and not too little. So you want to stir it because it gets sticky. So you want to stir it so that the flour coats it, and continue cutting. I know there are special tools for doing this, but I guess Mom couldn't afford them when I was a kid, so we just used 2 knives. And it's the cheap solution. And that is really about as much as you cut it in. They're supposed to be pea size. And it's done. So now we're going to go over and add our 4 tablespoons of water. The measure here is actually a liquid measure. On this, 4 tablespoons and a little extra might be okay. Be sure that the water is cold. So there's 1, do your counting, 2, 3, 4. Then I use a fork, which is also kind of crazy. I'm sure there are tools that actually do this, but we want it to stick together. You want to get all of the light flour turned in, but you don't want to over stir or over mix. So at this point I'm going to get my hands in there, and I'm going to pat it down, try to get that flour mixed in without kneading the dough. I need both of my hands in there. So sometimes you'll find that you'll have a little flour in the bottom. You will want to just maybe add a little touch of water to make sure that it all sticks together. Then you just press it together. You don't knead it, you don't mix it, stir it, anything. After you've got it mixed fairly well, you just press it together, and then you split it into 2. You form it into some nice round balls. You make sure that they're, I guess you'd call it evenly weighted. It's the only way to really know whether you've got the equal sizes. If one's a little bigger than the other, then choose that one for the bottom crust, because the concave of the pie tin actually takes up a little more room. Now we're going to go over to the to the cloth and start rolling it out.